All right, KISS Army, welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. Thank you for giving us your time today and letting us into your head. I hope we don't do any damage. This is a KISS-related podcast by the board, for the board. We hope that you enjoy.
Welcome to the KissFAQ podcast. I'm Ken, and I'm your substitute teacher for the moment. Until we hope Julian's going to be here. Maybe late. Hopefully, he has a lot of things going on.
If you need a real teacher, I'm here, so you know.
Well, that's true. Daniel, you're a real teacher. So we got Daniel from the board, Mark Almighty, and St. Louis Kiss. Lonnie is back again. So we got most of the crew here today for this momentous occasion of going over gene material, which is going to be kind of cool. Very difficult task we had today to do this thing. So, and there goes Mark, right on schedule.
Got dinner, Dan.
It's going. So, hey, thanks you guys for coming in and joining us. The guys who are here live today, AB, Titania, Bell, AB. I said AB twice. Lonnie. Hey, Lonnie.
That's me.
You're on there too. Austin, Gregory, Opal Archive, Brent. If I missed anybody, I'm sorry.
Thomas.
Is there more? Thomas also. Austin Newland.
Mike, Ronnie Parker. Greetings.
There you go. Mike. I think we got it all. And StreamYard. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I don't think there's a whole lot of news going on right now in the KISS world, unfortunately. I know there's been some new arrivals as far as merchandise that's come, and I guess show mine. I know Lonnie had his. It came with the shirt. I don't have
It's really nice, actually. Everybody.
It is a nice long suit.
Everybody complains about it. It's really nice.
I haven't opened it yet.
I have not either.
Oh, nice.
This is the gold one. It has a shiny. It's hard to tell, but it's a foil type cover, so you can really see the silver stick. You know, it really pops out.
Ken, question for you.
Yeah.
Is that the same as the 2014 pressing, like in the Matrix, or is this a different?
Well, I haven't seen the Matrix yet.
Okay. You haven't opened it. Okay.
I'm gonna bet that it's still the 2014 master.
For sure.
The cover says 2024 on it, so it's a new sleeve.
The printing,
because of that the foil type cover. So
Can I show one thing quickly before we go?
Yes. What do you got?
Okay. So, as you know, I pimp my stuff on here sometimes. Julian allows me to do so, and I'm very grateful. So, as you know, people who are involved in buying my Project Gemini stuff, we are at the stage now, the exciting stage where I have received the album covers from the printing plant, and it has come. I have to sign them all now. Put my numbers and the autograph on the back there on the white spot. But there is the back cover of the album. It turned out really, really good. I'm very happy. This is the one record. Well, I mean, I like all my records. I think they all turned out good. But I'm really excited about this one because the vinyl turned out really good. The acetate cut that was done sounds absolutely fantastic. And the poster is numero uno. It looks really, really good. I'm very happy about it. And if you check my YouTube video that I'll do later on the next coming day or two, I will show you the poster as well. And then you'll be up to date on everything that's in my world of Project Gemini. And back to you, Ken.
Cool. No, thanks for showing us. That looks like they did a great job on that one. So
thank you.
Very, very, very nice.
Yes.
Any other news that anyone else is aware of? I haven't.
Well, the only thing I hear about is that I know that they're going to be doing that Gibson TV thing with Paul Stanley in the next. I don't think it's this month. I think it's in June or maybe this month. But they're supposed to be going into the KISS warehouse with Paul Stanley, and he's going to be opening up all his guitars that he's had over the years, and they're going to be doing like an hour-long segment with him talking about his guitars, what to use them for, what tours. So KISS fans, be ready for that. I know I'll be ready when that comes on, because I'm very interested in seeing that.
Yeah, that should be good. That's going to be, we can view that on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
at Gibson TV. I think Rick says, yeah, Ace is on the. That's true. Ace is on the cover of Goldmine magazine, kind of like where they had what Gene or whatever a while back too, on the cover and multiple covers. So I'm still waiting for the Ace vinyl, the Fraley's Comet one. I ordered that. There's no shipping notice on that one yet either. So, yeah, it is what it is. All right. Anything else? Any other news? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think we can do it. This is a subject today was spawned by Daniel, not me, believe it or not. You'd think it would be mine, but no, this is Daniel's idea. So, Daniel, what were your thoughts on creating this subject for Gene?
Well, I always think it's good to include the listeners, and this was actually a listener who posted this idea a few weeks back on the Facebook page. If you're not a member of the Facebook page, go and join it, please. We put some stuff up there as well. So I thought it was a great idea, and let's see what happens.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess we can go around the four of us, and what was your? Was it difficult? First of all, it was difficult for me, but was it difficult for you to come up with just 10? Because there's a lot of songs to go through. 10 is not a lot. The other thing is Daniel wanted us to put it in an album form too. So that kind of really threw me off when I was picking my songs. I was actually had different songs on my list, and once I put it to the album, and then I just changed what I wanted to do. So, but I'll explain that in a bit. Maybe I'll go around the board. I'll do mine last. How about you, Lonnie? What were your methods? Madness to the method.
For my 10 best Gene songs, the first couple came to me, rather quickly. I'm like, well, you know what? I have to have these songs on that list because they're such a staple of Gene and such a staple of Kiss that I cannot not have these included. And then for the rest of them, it just kind of became personal favorites, I guess, as the more I went, the more I tried to narrow it down. You're right, Ken. It was a difficult exercise to say, okay, these are the 10 best Gene songs in my opinion. When you're talking 20 albums worth of material, and on an average, about half of them are songs from Gene, and there were rules to it that Cold Gin, for example, just so the people watching and people listening can know that Cold Gin, for example, that's a Gene song because Gene sings it. Sure, Ace Frehley wrote it. Parasite, that's a Gene song. So there were parameters, set up for it. Because how can you have your 10 best Gene songs and say, well, God of Thunder, that's not a Gene song because Paul Stanley wrote it. So, but it was kind of a difficult exercise, considering the amount of material that's out there.
Yeah, cool. Mark, how about you?
Well, kind of like Lonnie, the first couple of ones came really quickly. I mean, I have my favorites, just like I'm sure everybody else has their typical Gene favorites. To make the 10 wasn't that difficult, I found, for me, because I do.
There's no good Gene songs, right? That's
well, no.
Right?
I mean, it's not that. I mean, look, of course,
all those Ezra songs. So
there's a lot of waste. There's a lot of waste in the Gene book. There, there's a lot of stuff that's didn't deserve to see vinyl. But the ones that he did put on that were good, that they made it on my list. I feel. I mean, there are some of them that didn't make it. That was absolutely flabbergasted how they didn't make it. But we'll get to that when we get there, right? But I think what was interesting is once we start talking about making this into an album as well, then I realized that when I looked at my list that I had, that it actually ran pretty good as an album as well. So I didn't have to make really any alterations to mine as far as a album running order out of my top 10, which was really rare. That rarely ever happens in my list. Usually when I have to make a top 10, I have to resequence it for what I think would be a good running order for a record, but not this time. This order I think would be perfect for a record. And I'm curious to see what you guys picked and what we all thought.
Okay. Yeah. It's the sequencing is kind of interesting. I know mine is interesting to me, at least. Daniel, what are your thoughts on making your list?
Initially, I was very ambitious and, thought about constructing or structure the album as a Kiss album with one ballad and a 1-2 punch in the beginning. But after some thought, I just picked my 10 favorite songs with Gene. It ended up like that. So I picked my 10, the 10 best songs that day. It all can change. But as the other guy said, maybe 4 or 5 of them will always be on the list, and then the other ones can rotate a little bit. I left off some real good songs, and songs like Parasite and what's the other Ace song that Gene sings? Parasite, and the other one that Lonnie mentioned at the top of the show. Yeah, Cold Gin.
Right.
They are so Ace. There's so much Ace in those songs. To me, they are not like Gene songs, so they actually didn't make the top 10 for me. But God of Thunder did, because that's like a classic Gene song.
Yeah. I know that the Opal Archive asked, do co-writes count?
I think everything did, right?
I think only if Gene sings it. I think if co-write or whatever, Strutter or whatever, that's come on, that's Paul, really, even though Gene helped write that song. Yeah. So we stuck with the ones that Gene sang, but he didn't have to write them himself. So that's how we went about it then. All right, well, let's go there. I guess initially what we were going to do, I got to tell you what I thought. So when I went to put my list together, I had songs probably, it just seemed, typical songs that you think that you would put on the Gene Simmons list, some of the heavier stuff. And I went away from that after I started putting the album together, because I thought, this album is like all over the place. So I had to try to.
But that's a classic Gene album, all over the place.
Yeah, well, that's true too, right? Solo
all his solo efforts.
Yeah, it could have been that way, but see, I'm trying to fix Gene here.
Okay.
That part.
Team Gene.
I'm on this team, so I tried to keep the mood of the music kind of the same on each side of the album, that sort of thing. So, it was difficult. I had songs and then I took them out and put other ones in the play. I just kind of was back and forth on that. So, all right, let's go down the list first, and we'll show our full picks later on, and we'll talk about.
Do you want to say the songs that were eliminated that didn't make the list that we voted for?
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah, what were those?
Those were the songs that didn't make the list but received votes were Radioactive, Parasite, Paralyzed, Mr. Make Believe, Any Way You Slice It, all received 1 vote.
Yes.
Love's a Deadly Weapon and World Without Heroes each received 2 votes. Rock and Roll Hell and Journey of 1,000 Years received 3 votes each. Domino received 4 votes, and it's criminal that Domino didn't make this list.
The next one is even worse.
I don't know who gave it 4 votes. Rock and Roll All Night, the signature Kiss song, did not make the list.
I can't believe that, personally.
5 votes. Only You, Not for the Innocent, and Fits Like a Glove also received 5 votes. Daniel's disappointed in us all.
As usual.
Fits Like a Glove.
Saint and Sinner received 6 votes and did not make the list. And and we're at 2.
Sorry.
And Cold Gin.
Cold Gin didn't make it.
Cold Gin and I both received 7 votes but neither of them made the top 10.
So that would be a pretty good album as well.
The trick
Those are
too
really good
is
songs.
the trick
Yeah.
here also is if you really want a certain song to make the list, you have to rank it high, like number one or something.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think
Go on a campaign,
if you think no one else is going to vote on that song but
Yeah.
you, mine was so
That's
weird
not fair.
that I knew you guys were going to pick most of the heavier songs, so I kind of stayed away from that. But we'll go through the list. All right.
Some
But
strategy.
then is it an accurate list if you do that? Is that
It's
Yeah.
accurate because I wanted to make it.
You want your songs on the list.
I
so
wanted
that's
to
why
make
it's
it a
accurate.
cohesive album, a cohesive
Yes.
themed album.
Oh.
All right, so we'll show each of we'll show that list of all of ours together on the screen a little bit later, and we'll display the full list also right at the end of us going down to 10, which is really not 10 because we had a tie, a 3-way tie in our list, so it's really 12. But
so obviously we're going to go through the final list now from 10.
Yeah,
to
we're going
1,
to do that first.
and then we're going to do ours. Right? Okay.
Right. So coming in at number 10 is Christine 16 with 9 votes. And then again, that would have been really 12 on the list, but because other 3 songs tied at 6, that it becomes a 10. So it we slid into Christine 16. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but anyway.
Wow.
Wow, that's it. Oh, wow. So Christian 16 is 10. I think I voted for it. I don't think anyone else voted.
I voted for it.
Okay. Lonnie voted for it too. All right, good. So we got a couple there of smart people that voted for it.
Well,
anyway.
honestly, I didn't vote for it because I thought for sure that everybody else did. And it's also not really my favorite song off of that. Off of his record, like him from off of Love Gun. I actually like other songs off of that, but I thought for sure you guys would have voted for it. So
and that's probably some of the problem is we thought we're thinking about what someone else is going to do, and that can throw off your own list sometimes. So.
Worry about you. Don't worry about anybody else.
Yeah,
there you
true.
go.
No.
All right.
I don't care what. I never cared for what you voted for, but I just played Christine 16 on the guitar because it's such a cool sounding pop riff. So I see that one, man. That's a good song for the album.
It's a good poppy song. So
yeah.
All right, then we have number 9. Coming at number 9 with 10 votes is "I Love It Loud," and it's not surprising. It's kind of a Gene staple now. I did not vote for that.
Neither did I.
I did.
You. So it must have been you, and I think probably Julian too. We'll see Julian's picks after we go through this full thing. So yeah, I mean that's not surprising. I have no problem with it. I think I had that on my list and I took it off. One of the ones I took off. So
the problem is, of course, we've heard it so many times, so you're a bit tired of it. That's the issue. Otherwise, if you hear it for the first time, it's such a bombastic song.
That is the problem with "I Love It Loud." We've heard it so many times.
Yeah.
But like when they brought it back on the farewell tour in 2000, and I know I'm talking about 2000 like it was 2 years ago, even though it was 24 years ago. But then when they brought that back and played that was really freaking cool.
Yeah.
Like oh wow,
I was glad they
playing
brought it back.
that instead of something off of the original 6 albums.
Yeah, I saw that in 83. I saw that live. So, anyway. All right. Oh, no. What's on my screen? Something's popped up. A calendar. All right. So coming in number 8, we have "See You Tonight" off of Gene's solo.
I'm surprised about that one, to be honest.
What? Are you kidding me?
Top 10? Really?
It has 11 points.
Ken gave 10 points.
So who on the panel voted for "See You Tonight"?
I think me and Julian did.
Julian, maybe.
Yeah.
I think Julian even had it higher than me. Maybe.
Okay.
I think he might have it.
Where did you have it ranked at, Ken?
I had it ranked at. I got to look at it. Where was it? Oh, what's that? 7 on my list.
Okay.
So,
But
and
Julian
Julian had it
high
at 4. So,
Wow.
well, I guess if you want a sort of a ballad on a Gene album, that's one of the favorites that you could pick from.
well,
Yeah,
wait till you see my
better than
full list.
When You Wish Upon a Star, right?
Yeah.
Well, no one picked that.
World Without
Obviously.
Heroes would give it a run for its money, maybe.
Well,
Yeah.
That's
come on
another,
now.
another good one.
All right.
That's a good one.
World Without Heroes is all right. Okay, so coming in number 7, we have, and this is one that was on my list, but then I took it off. But I'm not surprised it's on. Is Watching You with 14 points.
Yes.
So
Who voted
that
for
I mean
Watching You?
that's
I did.
that was one of the
I
first
did.
songs. Yeah, that was one of the first songs I actually had on my list. And then I
Now,
threw it
the
out.
funny thing is, and I don't think Julian did this. Like, I don't think he made any kind of real specifications on it. But when I submitted my list, I put "Watching You" from the Eddie Kramer demo, not specifically from the first one. But I don't think he cares. I think it's just as long as it's "Watching You," he just put that on.
Oh, the
vote.
demo. Yeah,
We're not-
that fits.
We're not talking deathmatch here. You can.
Yeah,
can
no,
like
I
it,
know.
Whether you
Because you
like
could
the studio
have-
version or whatever.
Yeah.
Version.
Right, you can have going blind, for instance, from multiple albums too. So
Yeah.
so that works.
Dana,
All right.
did you put Watching You on your list or no?
No, actually, it was on my short list, but it didn't make it. It was number 11, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah, a good one. Good song.
Close. All right. So next we have number 6. Well, we have 3 number 6s here.
Three-way tie.
These are 3-way tie for number 6. And the first one we'll go over here is God of Thunder with 16 points. It reads on my list 666. Interesting. Anyway,
Wow.
God of Thunder.
So did all 4 of us vote for God of Thunder on our list?
No.
No, we did not.
Of course, I didn't vote for it. I mean, come on.
But you could use the Alive. You could use the Alive. Oh, don't show all the scores now, Ken. So
I gotta remove
you
that.
Give it away.
Let's
Don't give
show
it
the
away
homework.
yet. Don't give
that
it
was
away
like
yet.
That was like a teaser sneak.
Okay,
sneak.
sneak peek.
Okay.
Good.
So we got to go to Mark here.
Julian did.
We got to go to Mark here a little bit. God of Thunder. I know Paul. We all know Paul Stanley wrote it, but God of Thunder, the signature Gene Simmons song, the Drool of Blood, Fist in the Air song.
Yeah.
Mark says, "No, sorry, not on my 10 favorite Gene Simmons songs." Mark, explain yourself.
I feel he has better songs. I mean, I think that he's done better with songs over his career throughout in my top 10. I mean, it's not a bad song. On the Live 2 version, I think it's fantastic. Even the Live 3 when they do it and stuff like, well, they didn't do a Live 3, but when they do it later on in the career, it's fine. I think it's good, but I mean, I just don't like that album version. Those kids and that fucking walkie-talkie.
You should have picked the Alive 2 version. You should have
Isn't it
picked the
better than-
Alive 2.
doesn't have to
It's
be
better
that.
than the
I
original
know.
Paul version. The original
But
Paul
I know, but
version was worse.
well, yeah, well, it is much better than that. But I've been so like burnt by that version. I don't know.
So just for a peek behind the curtain, Mark, I'm just going to pick on you for a minute. Just
Okay.
for a peek behind the curtain here for the listener, that Mark has Naked City on his list.
Yes.
And Mark has Not for the Innocent and Radioactive on his list. He enjoys those songs more than God of
Yes.
Thunder.
Oh, this bring back memories. I remember Lonnie going off on Ken when we made an album, and he had left off Detroit Rock City off the list when we
Right,
did
right.
best, and Lonnie
don't
went
play
total mad on it. Yeah, so that just popped up in my. But I mean the riff. I just have to go. And then.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a top three Gene song.
But
I
I
had
mean,
it in 3rd place.
But
Perfect.
I like
One of the first heavy metal songs ever written, I think.
Yes. Well, I mean, I like Naked City better, to be honest. I mean, I've always liked that song better.
That's
to be
fine.
honest.
Yeah, that's a pretty good song as well, but it's
All right.
well, it's not at the same
It's
level.
not like he couldn't blow fire to it or anything like that, but it is
No.
a good song.
no, not really.
Naked City.
You take off his cod piece on it. I think maybe that's about it.
Wow.
Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll remember that.
Hey,
A new stick for Gene, yeah.
Also tied at number 6 is Going Blind with 16 points.
Okay, who voted for Going Blind?
I did.
I didn't.
I said the unplugged version, but it doesn't matter.
But this is a song it sounds like crap on Harder Than Hell, but the on Unplugged it's so great. And even when they played it as a two-piece, Paul and Gene on that Most Wanted show on MTV Europe, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
I think it was in '94 when they were on a promotion tour for Kiss My Ass, that terrible tribute album.
Right?
Yeah, the best thing with that album was that Paul and Gene went to Europe and did some, promotion, and that was the best thing they did. They played it in the studio live. Paul on acoustic guitar and Gene on some ugly ass bass, but it sounded great. And that was actually the first time I kind of liked that song, because the studio version never did anything for me.
Yeah, the studio version's okay, but it's better in acoustic form. Yeah, definitely agree. So number 6, also tied at number 6, is Naked City.
Yes.
We know Mark
Tell us why you love me.
I think I voted for that too. I think.
Yeah, I see that.
It's a great song, man. I don't care what anybody says. Damn it. I'm saying it's a good song.
Julian also voted for Naked City.
See, there you go. Even the
three
boss
of us
Julian
did.
vote.
Three Musketeers.
The Julian's vote for Naked City rank higher than his vote for God of Thunder.
There you go. See, I'm not the only one.
That would be a good song title. I'm not the only one.
It did.
Okay.
Julian didn't vote for God of Thunder.
Oh.
Yeah, he has no clue, that guy. That guy has no clue.
Lonnie, you're going to have to get on his case next time.
Julian would be scolding me if he was on the show.
I understand why he's not here. He can't defend himself. His picks are so crazy.
All right. Next, we have, Naked City's, obviously Naked City is a pretty.
I like the lyric.
Good song from Unmasked, so I enjoy it. That's why I voted for it. So, all right, number 5, we have War Machine with 17 points.
Did we all vote for War Machine?
No.
No, I had that. That's another one I got rid of. I told you. Daniel had War Machine.
I'm guessing Lonnie had War Machine.
Lonnie had War Machine.
Mark had War Machine.
I did not have War Machine.
You did not have it.
Mark did not. Just you two. I think.
Even Julian didn't pick it?
Julian did not pick War Machine. Which is kind of surprising.
Well, that's another one that they've played to death live, of course. And I think because we've heard so many live shows, some of you have forgotten how great of a song it is. Because I think that's that's probably my favorite Gene song, at least today. Everything from the great guitar solo to the breakdown, the bridge is so cool. And the main riff, like that dinosaur stomping around. And Gene's vocals, of course, as well. So it's a perfect metal song for Gene. And live, it always goes over real well. Even people that haven't heard it. I took my kids to a show this past summer, and then I asked them, what was your favorite song? And they all said War Machine. I don't know why. That was the one that... They liked War Machine the best. Of course, there were a lot of effects and so on, but it went over real well, and they're like 10, 12, and 15. So
did he do the fire during that, or was that a different song?
I think he did it during War Machine, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because I know he does use it sometimes for that.
I think that's a great observation from Daniel. It is just played to death, but man, when they brought that back in 2004 on Rock the Nation, my brother and I were at the show. We were like third row, and like they go in the War Machine. You just hear that guitar intro, and like my brother just like wrapped his arm around me, like, and his other arm just pumping his fist in the air. Like, can you fucking believe this? This is so much better than what we've gotten the last few times they've come around.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But since then, on the other side of it, since then, I
They
mean,
played it.
I don't think you can say a tour that they haven't played that on. That they have
Yeah.
just
They played it
run
to death.
totally
Yeah.
into the ground. But man, it is a great song, and that's why we were so excited when they did bring it back.
So
Yeah.
Bryan Adams wrote the best Gene song, according to me. That's terrible.
And Jim Valance apparently too.
Yeah,
Gene came up with the riff on the little toy
that's true.
keyboard thing, and
yeah,
then
that's such a cool story.
he came up
But
with
then,
it. You know,
but didn't Bryan Adams and those guys come up with like some of the
They
lyrical
finished it off.
content and stuff? Yeah.
I
They
think
did
so.
most of the job, I think.
It is a great guitar solo. by
Yeah.
Vinny.
Oh, yeah.
Really,
Yeah,
really
that's an
one of the
excellent
better
song.
ones for Vinny. It really
I agree.
worked well. So, all right. Next, now we're going down to our top 4 here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's been some big ones here. Number 4, we have Charisma
Oh,
with
I
20
forgot about that.
points. Charisma.
We
I
voted for
voted for
Charisma.
that one. I did, for sure. Yes.
And of course,
No,
I
voted
did.
for. I voted for it as well.
And
I did not.
Daniel
Really, you
did.
didn't? You didn't vote for
I
it?
didn't.
Really?
And Julian did.
Wow.
So
I'm the
Lonnie's,
only one.
Lonnie's the only one
I am the only
that
one
does
that
not
did.
like Charisma.
Wow. Why do you
I
hate
didn't say I didn't
Dynasty?
like it. I didn't say I didn't like it, and I like Dynasty as an album. But you know what? But you know what, Mark? I'm going to put God of Thunder on my list and leave off Charisma.
Yeah, I
Well,
had God of
you know.
Thunder above Charisma as well, yeah. And War Machine, yeah.
That's why I said this is going to be an interesting list because how
Yeah,
people
yeah, yeah.
looked at it when they did this, right?
Yeah, but sometimes it's just hard to understand, how people
Oh,
think.
come on. Like I said, we've heard some of these songs so many thousands of times. It does have a little bit of an influence on us when we do
Yeah,
this. Like you said,
that-
next week it could have been different, right?
That's true. And that's the truth with the whole list of things. Tomorrow I could pick 10 songs and it'd be totally different.
So it's
Yeah.
just fine.
I don't think
That's the
totally
way it goes.
different. I
But
mean,
there would be
there's
some
most of
songs would
it.
be
Yeah,
A lot
some,
of it
maybe
would be
3 or
different.
4. Yeah,
If I decided to go heavier, because mine is
Yeah.
not on the heavy side of the songs I picked. It's kind of a little bit lighter or poppier.
70s Ken was feeling a little more, laid back for that list.
I was a little laid back, yeah. Turn it down. All right. Number 3, we have Unholy with 24 points.
Yes.
And I'm sure Lonnie picked that.
I did. It was number 2 on my list.
Yeah. And
Huh,
who else
interesting.
had
I
it?
did not pick it number 1. It was
Julian
it was
did not
close.
pick Unholy.
He hates
No,
it.
Are you
Julian-
surprised?
Julian
He
expressed
hates
his
revenge.
Last
He hates
time he
revenge.
said what is... Yeah,
Julian
He
expressed
hates
his disdain for Unholy on the last
exactly.
episode.
Mark and Daniel both have Unholy also. I do not have Unholy because, it's already stated. I went
Because
for
what?
the popular
Because
stuff.
Ken's worried about what the rest of us are going to.
I'm worried about the album sequencing. That's my problem. All right. So now the top 2. Here we go. What could it be? What could they be? Well, number 2, we have Julian's favorite song, Deuce, with 29 points.
Okay, it didn't win.
Julian and I both voted Deuce number 1.
Number 1 for Julian and Lonnie.
It didn't even make my list.
It did not
Explain.
make my list.
No God of Thunder, no Deuce on your list. Explain yourself.
Honestly, and not a Julian's not here. I'll honestly say what I think. I like Deuce as a song. Like I said, I've played it before in my band, but honestly, I think it's overrated a little bit. Deuce. Okay, I think it gets a little bit more, polish and praise than it should. There are much better songs in the catalog than Deuce. Okay, I mean, come on. I can see in the FAQ they're saying shame on Mark, but come on,
He's listening.
admit it, people. There are better songs than Deuce. Okay, there you go.
Well, yeah,
Okay?
they're better songs.
Yeah, there are
Julian
better
would,
songs
Julian
than
would
Deuce.
argue that one, but
I'm not going to disagree with it that they're better songs than Deuce, but when I'm talking Gene Simmons specific songs, there's
the
no way I'm
staple
leaving it off my
kind of
top
song
10
for
songs.
him.
Well, there's one that I think is much better, and we're going to get to that, I'm sure.
But I think both Deuce and Unholy are spectacular songs, at least in the live set. No, Deuce in the live setting and Unholy on the studio record. Unholy is probably my favorite when it comes to Sonic's.
Yeah,
Deuce is the best opening song Kiss ever used on any tour. I think it's so perfect as an opener. From that riff to the energy to the screams in the song. Gene does a cool scream in the middle of the song to get the crowd going. So I totally agree with those two songs being at the top of the list, but I'm wondering which is number one, because I can't figure
I'll
out
get
which
there.
one
But
it is.
I'll
come
say
on.
Unholy has never worked well live.
No.
For me, ever.
Too
It's
high
just
for
never.
Gene.
I don't know what it is, but yeah, it just doesn't work. It's great on the album though, that's for sure.
Which is number one?
All right, here we go. Your number one song by Gene Simmons that we have picked, consolidated. It's Calling Dr. Love.
Ah, of course.
34.
That's my number one, and I easily think that's his best song that he's done, for sure.
Yeah, that was my number one also, Mark. So you and I
See,
were
we
there.
agree.
Who had Julian had Calling Dr. Love number 2. Lonnie had it down in like 6, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel
Didn't make my list.
Oh my God!
Wow,
It was
on.
number 12. I guess I'm guilty as charged when it comes to being a bit tired of that song, because that song they've played forever. And my favorite thing in that song is probably Ace's solo. I think he has a real cool solo in that song. But yeah, it's a good song, but it's nowhere near War Machine or Deuce or Unholy. It's way down.
Come on.
It's a
Let me
cool
tell you
song.
something.
Yeah,
I'll tell you something.
Good
let's hear
song,
it.
Great
but it's
riff.
not-
I thought it was okay. For a while I always thought it was an okay song, but then I caught a video of it on YouTube, and anybody can see this. They did that tour, Sonic Boom across Europe, and there's a great
Yeah.
concert of them playing there. Now, I had my headphones on one night and I had it cranked. I was listening to stuff, and that video came up, and I watched it. And that performance of that song was so heavy and so cool when they played that song that instantly again shot up to my number one. And it has such a great riff. I can never get tired of that. And it suits Gene's vocal range perfectly, and it has the best guitar solo that he's
it's a
ever
good
done,
solo.
and it was voted the best. We voted it the best guitar solo as well in one of our episodes.
But we're not talking about
Yeah,
Philly
that's true.
guitar solos. We're talking about.
No, I know,
Gene's
but
solo.
I'm saying for Gene, though, it's a great song. It's
all part
great
of
for
the
him.
song.
It's a top 12 song.
Oh, 12.
Yeah.
It was my.
I have it 6. It's good, but like I don't know. When I go see Kiss, if they don't play Dr. Love, I'm not going to be heartbroken.
Oh, I'm not gonna be heartbroken if they don't play
Unholy
anything.
wasn't number 1.
Well, I've been heartbroken for a long time since they played on Holy since 2004. But
Well, Calling Dr. Love for me, that was my first favorite song when I first got into Kiss. That was one of them. I played that one over and over on Alive 2, along with Christine 16, which are both on my list. So yeah, Calling Dr. Love was a big deal. And the first time I heard that solo, like Mark said, the very first time I heard that Ace solo, I was like, oh man, that's so good. It just was like, sends like a shiver up your spine. It was so good. The first time I heard it, I thought it was so great.
I think
It's
Mark
so
tonight
simple but so great at the same time.
Yeah, I think Mark should go to YouTube tonight and see a live version of War Machine from any of the last few tours, and you'll have the same exact experience.
Well, I've seen them do it live many times too. I mean, it's. I'm not saying it's a bad song. I think it's a great song, but I just don't think that it's Gene's best for him.
Let's now. Well, let's do this. There's our top
That's
10
the final
here.
score, yeah.
And you can see the scoring here, and where we have tied at 6, we had God of Thunder, Going Blind, and Naked City. Therefore, the list expanded to 12 songs, really. So this is our top 10. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to look at the selections and some of the other selections that we had, and actually our sequencing of what our individual albums would be here. So we'll go down the list here in some of these. So Julian, here's Julian's list of 10 songs, and this is the order of. Is this the order of his sequencing?
I didn't do it by sequencing.
I didn't do it either by sequence. I just picked from favorite to least
I
favorite.
did it favorite though. Yeah.
But some of his picks are pretty. I didn't see Paralyzed coming from Julian.
Yeah.
Did you have Paralyzed?
I did not.
No, and he has Paralyzed as a top.
I think
I would like to hear why.
That's actually Paralyzed and I got a Thunder.
Actually, what I think is interesting about this list is that the person who has the least amount of songs that didn't make it on the list was Lonnie, with only 2 didn't make it on the list.
That's true.
And I had the most songs that didn't make the list was 5. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, Cool Gin didn't make it. Rock and Roll Night, which I think was shocking. Rock and Roll Hell, okay, I can see that now. Not for an instant, okay, I can see that. And Radioactive, I guess I can see that now as well. But I mean, I have to say, Rock and Roll Night is like, I think, so firmly attached to Gene Simmons and probably is the most popular Kiss song ever. I'm surprised we didn't pick that one, but it is what it is, right?
Daniel had Love's a Deadly Weapon, and Love's a Deadly Weapon was probably number 11 on my list. I love Love
nice to hear, nice to hear.
Yes. Very underrated song. I love that song.
It's a cool rocker. Yeah.
The on Julian, Only You, he had Only You, of course. And I had that on my list, and I swapped it out with A World Without Heroes. That's what I did. I did have Only You on mine. I swapped it. Not for the Innocent. I almost picked that again.
Yeah.
Too heavy on my list because obviously on my list there's nothing super heavy. I have there was a rock and roll side and more of a mellow side. Was going to be side 2 with like See You Tonight and Going Blind and Journey of a Thousand Years and World Without Heroes and Mr. Make Believe. Those would have been my side 2. I would have had more of a rock kind of first side and a less rock, more mellow on the second side. But that's how I devised mine. I'm surprised. I'm kind of surprised. Well, maybe not. I'm the one that likes I a lot more than anyone else. I always like I every time I hear it. So,
but you had Going Blind in your second spot there.
Yeah,
I think about
the unplugged version is with my mind. Yeah,
same as me. Because are we the only ones with Going Blind? I think so.
Julian did not even.
I mean, I'm not surprised that you picked Fits Like a Glove, Daniel, but any way you slice it, I'm kind of surprised of that one.
It's in the spot number 10. I thought I would, change things up a little bit. I was listening to Asylum, I think, when I did the list, and that song went on. I think I love the Gene songs on that album a lot. I think it's one of the few albums that I can listen through all the Gene's songs without skipping anyone.
Trial by Fire is really good. Trial by Fire is good.
That's a good one as well.
You picked Daniel. You picked Any Way You Slice It and Love's a Deadly Weapon. Aren't they both from Asylum?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
fast Gene songs with aggressive vocals. I think they're kind of similar to Fits Like a Glove, which is one of my favorite songs.
Oh, yeah.
I guess they're like sister songs to some extent, and that's why I like them, I think.
But I'm interested to see that there's nobody picked No either for the list.
Is there any Crazy Night?
You're surprised by that?
There was yes. Did someone do a Crazy Night?
Anything from Crazy Nights or Hot in the Shade? No.
No, I would have. I mean, if I did Crazy Night,
Animalize. No.
Hell or High Water would have been the one I would have picked.
Yeah, and I think Bill Phelps, he says Parasite is an A song. Yeah, it's so connected sort of to A, so it's hard to pick that one. But that could easily have made my list, but it's more of an A song to me.
Yeah, good. But I mean, you can say the same thing about Cold Gin, but I mean,
I think that's
I can't imagine hearing Ace. I mean, I know Ace does sing it now, but I mean, the Gene singing it is so right. You know what I mean? Like he has the
that's
right
true.
voice for
That's
it.
the first album. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
Always
suffered
think
from the same thing as well. I think people put it way more down because of the connection to Ace.
Cole just played to death.
And not only that,
that's-
but yeah, they if you think about it, in the '80s period when they kind of abandoned all the '70s stuff, like if you watch that Animalize in Detroit
Yeah.
video,
Yeah.
Cold Gin is probably one of the rare '70s songs that they do still play at that point. So it has been played a lot through their career.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I almost picked Under the Rose. Also, that was another.
Oh Lord.
As your top 10 Gene Simmons songs.
I love that song. I love Under
that's-
the Rose.
See, Mark, I just
it's
don't
great.
pick on you. I'll go after Ken too.
I
But
appreciate
I
that.
knew I did not pick it because I knew you guys would drive me crazy.
Under the Rose.
Under the Rose is
Wow.
nowhere near top 10.
Exactly.
Does I say
Yeah.
Mr. Blackwell or something? Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Blackwell. Yeah, no one picked that. Is there any other songs that, just thinking about it, that are we missing that probably should have been picked?
Well, there's nothing on Animalized.
All the
There's
way, maybe.
Nothing on maybe. Some.
That's
I like
Maybe
All the Way,
it's-
but it's not one of my top 10 though.
Yeah.
There's nothing on Dress to Kill either.
I mean, Almost Human is another one I really wanted.
Yeah,
or
Almost Human.
Plaster Caster. Those two songs
Almost
I
Human was-
really like. But
Almost Human
this
was
is too many.
close.
It's just too many great songs.
But the thing is though, Noel, I mean, think about it. There's a few been a period there where there's been some skim pickings for Gene. I mean, Dynasty, there's only 2 songs that he's done on that album. So sometimes it's not so easy to pick Gene stuff, right?
Yeah.
And Animalized, there's nothing there that you can put
Come on, Murder in
close
High
to.
Heels. Come on.
Murder in High Heels
Classic.
and Lonely's the Hunter and
There's
Lord.
definitely some crap turned in for some albums.
yes.
Yeah.
I actually like some of the
Nothing from
songs.
Sonic Boom.
No.
Hey, come on, you're covering up Lonnie's face there with that. Come on. There's a disrespect there.
I almost picked Yes I Know from
That's a
Sonic
fan
Boom.
favorite.
Because I do like Yes I Know. I think that's one of the better songs that they've put out in the last 2 albums. And I almost went with that.
Yeah, I agree, 100%.
Any love for what was it?
Ken.
Oh, you mean?
I love that,
I'm an Animal.
I think that's
No, that's not one
Too
of my
slow.
favorite Gene songs.
I have a vivid
They
memory.
played that live. It was so.
Yeah, I have a
platinum.
vivid memory I went
Not
to
one
that
of my favorites,
Sonic
yeah.
Boom over Europe that you talked about a while back, and they played "I'm an Animal," and the girl I was with, she said, "What the hell is this? It should be called I'm a Snail," because she thought it was so
My brother
lethargic
looked at
and
me and he
slow.
goes, "Another new song." He goes, "And by the way, this one's terrible."
Yeah,
Yeah, it
it
is.
wasn't bad. It wasn't a
Not
good
one of
thing
the
to play
better
live.
ones.
No.
They should have played something else.
It was just too. They trying too hard on that one to create some new kind of Gene.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, for
Gene
sure.
song, yeah.
Yeah.
And it just didn't work.
No, it fell very short.
Yeah.
Flat
So,
on its face.
let's see here.
Yeah,
What
the
else?
Ladies' Room is good too, but I mean, I still think that there's better, and that's coming from me who
Who Got
loves
Love
rock
for
and roll as
Sale?
my favorite, right?
It's got Love for Sale. That's
Yeah,
Pretty cool.
yeah. I
But
mean,
could you,
go ahead?
if we take a look at the album once more here that
Yeah.
we decided on, I think that's a pretty cool album.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
it's a lot
There's
of
some
cool,
soft
good
stuff,
songs.
some heavy stuff, and one song from his solo album. I think that's a cool album and pretty
Actually,
spread out through the years. You have some 80s and 90s, and of course most of it is from the 70s, as it should be.
What's interesting, there was a person on the board who put up his list on there, and he arranged it like an album. And what he did, which I thought was really fascinating, was that he started his off with Lita. Remember that Lita? Oh, like his first
Lita.
little recorded. Yeah, although it's a terrible song, but as a sort of album, like a Gene Simmons one, it's kind of interesting to start off that was first showing his songwriting beginnings, and then going, because he went from there all the way to like almost chronologically down with it. So he had, I think he picked something off of Monster for the last, I think from Monster on there, or maybe it might have been a Journey of 1,000 Years. Maybe it was his last song, but he did it in order and actually started with Lita, which I thought was kind of interesting, right? But it's not a great song, but it shows his roots, as they say, right?
Yeah.
My uncle is a raft.
Oh Lord.
Right? There you go.
Eskimo son, maybe.
Yeah, Eskimo son.
Yeah. Damien T says, but Damien T brings up a good point here. What about the track Everybody Knows? That's a Gene Simmons demo.
That's a good song.
That's a good
song. I love
really
the chorus
good
to that one. You really recall the chorus after hearing that. And if we think about it, all of the stuff on Gene's box set or the vault, is there anything there? I haven't listened through it from start to finish, but maybe Ken has.
There's a lot of good songs on there.
Is there?
Could have
well, I mean, you can always, Are You Ready? You can say, or you could even say,
that's pretty
It's
cool.
My Life is a good song, right?
It's My Life,
that's a good one. It's the funny thing with that is that It's My Life is one of those songs that I think should have been on an album. They tried so many times to put that. They recorded it so many times on so many different sessions, but they never put it. I always thought to myself, why? It's such a good song.
Yeah,
got on it was dropped from Psycho Circus and put on the box set.
Yeah,
and it's like they should have done it at Creatures.
But when they did Hot in the Shade, when they had all those crappy songs, why not put it on there?
Yeah, they could have put it on there. It would have really helped, actually.
And then it could be a lead-off single or a second single after Higher Heart or something.
Gone over probably pretty well.
I think it was pretty
period.
Yeah,
in rock.
There are a lot of good songs on the vault. Like I Wait, that's really good. And I Wait is really good. I Turn the Stone is really good.
Yeah.
And they're just no.
Yeah.
That's really kind of crazy.
It makes you wonder.
Good songs on there that are just non-existent in the catalog.
Yeah, it makes you wonder how they pick these songs. Like, is there like actually Paul sitting there like overruling, saying, "No, we're not doing." Like, I really wonder how that happens. Because
that happened during the 80s.
I said, It's My Life should have been on a record for sure.
Yeah, because they had so many albums with so many clunkers. Every album after Lick It Up had a few clunkers. At least Animalize, Hot in the Shade, Crazy Nights. I mean, there were so many opportunities. So that's really mind-blowing that they never used that song. It must be some problem with it somehow. I don't know what, but very strange. I like a lot of the stuff he did for Carnival of Souls, Gene, actually. Some of the heavy songs that have been heard in demo form. If they could have put some more work into them, that could have developed into something cool. I remember some of the songs, Chrome Heart, I don't know, that might be a few years earlier, and Heavy Rain, I think it's called, or something like that.
Heavy Rain,
yeah. And there's a song called Rain that's pretty good as well. Of course, Paul stole every title, but
Heavy Rain
never heard Gene's song.
It was Rain Keeps on Falling. It was like a lot of different versions of that song, and different kind of mellower to the real heavier, heavy stuff. You could see how he kept trying at it, different versions of it. And a lot of them are good. A couple of them are.
Yeah,
really,
I think the
really
problem
good.
with that time. I think the problem with that time though was Bruce Fairbairn, because Paul Stanley said that he didn't see eye to eye with him on that record when they were producing it. So maybe there was some conflict going on when they were doing these things. He claims that Bruce was all in Gene's pocket, that he was really supporting Gene's stuff, and he felt that his stuff wasn't getting supported as much as Gene's stuff was. But
but coming from Paul, I'm not too sure that it's true. I'm not so sure. Maybe Paul didn't get each and every song he wanted on the album, and then he felt like, ooh, this is unfair. Ooh, I think it's more like that. But what about this then? Do you ever think Gene will release another solo album? He has a solo band now. Do you think he will record and release something?
I kind of doubt it.
I think
in the game.
I mean, probably not. But I mean, I think that he could. I mean, he had. Let's put it this way: the two things that stop a band from doing a record is they don't have material, and they don't have a decent band to do it, or they can't do it. Now, Gene, we know he can still sing. He's showing that with the shows. He has a decent band that they can record, right? And he has so many songs in his look at the vault. I mean, he could probably take 9 or 10 of those, rework them a little bit with a decent producer and have a decent album. So he could do it, but will he?
Or he could do like many bands. They release one song or two songs, or, with a video. Have some fan that's good with video editing. Do a video for him for free almost, and then release it on YouTube and use it. Maybe play it during the tour.
Yeah, look at Motley Crue recently.
Motley Crue,
they just put out a song. Guns N' Roses have just put out a song here and there. They haven't put out.
Oh Lord, some bad songs there. What the hell?
We're not talking about the quality.
I'm not impressed by those.
We're talking about the concept of putting out a song.
Yeah. But I was so disappointed with the Guns N' Roses when they said they would release some old stuff. I guess most of it are leftovers from Chinese democracy or something.
Well, it's pretty good, but this isn't a Guns N' Roses podcast.
No.
We don't need to go too far down.
No. There was an interview either last year or year before, I think it was last year, that Gene said that he was going to fire up the Gene Simmons band, which he's done, and he actually said something about recording in the interview. So that would be cool if he actually records an album of.
I would think just one song would be cool, and he could do that easy.
He could do one easy, sure. Yeah. But I'd love a full album.
Of course. If you could pick, you would rather have an album. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But then you need to put some more time into it, I think. No, release a song, Gene, please. I think it would be cool to hear his. But then the question is, what type of song, what type of album should he record? Because he's been so all over the place. Would you like a Beatles album or a hard rock album or something in between?
Whatever it is, it needs to be a consistent kind of, type of sound
and something authentic. I mean, the problem with Asshole, I think he was trying to follow too many trends at that point, trying to be cool and with the times. Just do Gene Simmons, do what is strong for him, and just do that.
Why do you think he played Ace of Spades live? He hasn't played that before.
Yeah,
why
it's
did
really odd.
I think that was an odd pick.
Yeah,
it was
pretty
either.
Cool,
yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, it came out okay. It was probably because of the audience that they were going to play.
Or do you think it could have been because he wanted to have the drummer sing something? Because I know he's the one who sings that, right? The drummer's the one who
sings Love Gun too, which shouldn't be in the set list. Or the other guy.
That's an odd pick. But
why don't you just play New York Groove while you're at it?
And Beth is an encore, yeah. Then you can have the drummer sing again. Yeah,
that would be weird.
Yeah, so I hope his set list changes.
It will. It will.
I think it will, though. Especially if he plays US. I think that will change. I'm pretty sure it would change, but I've been wrong before. All right, so we are at about an hour now. So
yes,
I think we've covered the Gene Simmons top 10 pretty well. What are everyone else's top 10s? What are yours? Post them up on the board or on YouTube or wherever. What would you pick? It's it's very difficult to pick these things. So. But it was, it's fun doing it. I'm guessing we'll probably try to do that with, Paul's, songs that.
Ooh, that will be hard.
I mean, there's hardly any.
More difficult exercise. Yeah.
Peter and Ace might be the easiest ones because they have the least amount of songs on the, albums. Probably Peter would be the, most difficult one. Oh, but you never know.
Again,
He's saying
Origins going to count for an A song, and Parasite's going to count for an A song. We're going to put those back in the hat.
Yeah, you can do that. You know,
and they also have their solo records too to contend with too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, the solo albums. So yeah, we can do that. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us again. Sorry, Julian, that you couldn't make it this time, but we went over your list, and you are still here with us, even though you're not.
You're here in spirit.
You're here in spirit. So thank you from Daniel, Mark, Lonnie, and myself. And we'll see you next time. I still have to do an ending. This is part of the show, people. I have to do an ending. And where did it go?
This is quality.
Can you do it?
Is this it?
No, it's still recording.
We're not ending it. Where is it? Oh my God! This is the blooper. This is the blooper reel. Where did it go?
This should be the longest show ever.
Come on, you know where the ending is, don't you? It's got to be there.
Is this what?
Thank you for spending time listening to the KissFAQ podcast today. All sales are final. There are no refunds. If you'd like, look us up on Facebook or come over to the KissFAQ message board and discuss the topic we broadcast today. Don't forget to rate us on iTunes, Spreaker, or wherever you've listened to the show. We hope you'll join us again.